Good morning. My name is Paul. I use he, him pronouns, and I serve as one of your Board of Trustees members. I'm happy to welcome all of you on Zoom and in the sanctuary to the Tahoma UU congregation. Unitarian Universalists are a community of people who hold many beliefs, many origins, individualities, sexualities, and genders. We uphold and celebrate the inherent dignity of every person, which means you are welcome here just the way you are. Love is the power that holds us together as we gather in community to seek life's deeper meanings and to celebrate the diversity of all living things. We are all growing with and learning from one another. If you're here for the first time, we bid you a special welcome. After the service, I'll be here in the sanctuary, over by the table in the corner there, to answer any questions you may have about Unitarian Universalism or our congregation. Or if you have questions about how to become involved in our community, just ask. I also encourage you to explore our website, tahomauu.com. At that website, you can sign up for our weekly e-news that includes information about important and fun events going on in congregational life and how you can participate. Speaking of those wonderful things going on, Patty asked to make some announcements about our wonderful gallery.
Good morning. We are going to be hosting the artists who have created the show that we have. If you have an interest in the art, or if you're just curious as to what's going on, I invite you to stay after the coffee hour, or it's not an hour, it's coffee 15 minutes, and join us at the back of the sanctuary for an opportunity to talk to the artists and thank them for gracing us with their beautiful artwork.
Additionally, Margo has asked to share a little bit.
So this is what happens when I don't get my things into the e-news on time. I have 3 announcements. This is not a toothbrushing tutorial, but what I want to tell you is, if you've been here a few times, you know that we collect food for the local food bank, and occasionally we distribute some of this food within our own congregation if needed. We are doing a special project right now where we are focusing on hygiene items. We're focusing on toothpaste, toothbrushes, deodorant, feminine hygiene, things like that. Not razors, by the way. We weren't asked to do that. So I am also aware that hygiene items are expensive. So if you need to bring food instead of hygiene items, that is fine. I will also tell you, you can go to the dollar store and get them cheaper than even at Costco. So anyway, so for today and at least through the month of May, we're kind of focusing on hygiene more than shelf perishable food, but I don't want you to think you can't bring food. And our decision to do this it's not mini, it's not small, there's nothing small about it, to go to the food bank is because that comes out of our Unitarian Universalist values of generosity and equity, to bring other people to the place where they can have adequate food, and also our Unitarian Universalist value for justice. So if you have questions about this, see me after the service. I also want to let you know, completely unrelated, there is a Solidarity Day at the ICE Detention Center next Friday from 1 to 3. It's put on by the Urban Grace Church and La Resistencia. And protest does not change the machine of ICE that goes on in that detention center. And I was with detainees yesterday who told their stories of what it's like to be in the detention center. But they can hear us when we are outside singing. They can hear us when we are outside praying. They can hear us when we are outside, yelling a message of love to them. So that's why we do this outside the detention center. I have some flyers. You can see me after the service. Last but not least, um, oh, and Solidarity Day also goes to our Unitarian values of justice. I would say our interdependence and also equity. My last announcement, we've had these little flyers out if you are newer to come to a Pathways class. If you want to know more about our church, this class is next Saturday morning, but today is the last day to sign up for it. So if you're kind of thinking, oh, I might want to go, you'll just meet some people. You'll hear a little bit about the church and what's available here and the history here, and how it's run. And so it's a worthwhile thing to do. So Laura, where are you? Put your hand up. Laura, you can talk to Laura Gardner about sign up. All right. I've taken enough time.
Also, as a member of the board, I did want to say that the last update we'd gotten as far as our fundraising goal was that we'd received $167,000 towards our $200,000 request. We've made great progress there. We're excited to see those numbers. If you would like to continue to give, you can continue to go to our website or ask our admin, Sean, to set up additional gifts. And speaking of from the board, I would encourage you all again to talk to any of the board members, myself, Ben, any of the folks on the board. We're continuing to look for avenues that you guys would like to hear from us. We hear things that come up in discussion. We hear some of the concerns, some of the ideas, some of the questions, and we'd love to be able to have that conversation back with you all to help answer some of those questions, to give you sort of our current opinion on some of these things going on. But we don't want to spend 20 minutes up here during announcements rattling on about all that. So we'd like to find a better way to have that conversation with you guys. So if you guys have any ideas about how you'd like to receive that information, please feel free to have a conversation with anybody on the board about how we could better do that for y'all. Additionally, you're invited to join us for social 15 minutes immediately following the service over there by the windows. For those of you that are newer to our community, we do have red coffee mugs for you to use if you'd like to identify yourself and be approached by people who would enjoy getting to know you. If you're somebody who would benefit from large print hymnal or a hearing assistance device, they're available in the back of the sanctuary. We want to remind everyone that our services are available through Zoom and posted on YouTube, which means if you come up front, your image may appear on those venues. As we begin our service in this place called Tahoma by local indigenous tribes and nations, I acknowledge that we meet today on the land of the Coast Salish people, including the Puyallup tribal nation, land from which they were forcibly displaced. I honor the resiliency of indigenous people and stand with them as they continue to protect their culture, land, and water, and fight for their visibility, sovereignty, and very existence. Lastly, please set your electronic devices to worship mode. Let us exhale deeply and settle ourselves in this holy moment of sharing and receiving. Now let us join together in worship.
So I forgot to introduce myself during the announcements. I'm the Reverend Margo Reinhart, and I'm the minister here at the Tahoma Unitarian Universalist Congregation, sometimes known as TUUC, and I use she, her pronouns. I want to pause to say, Bob wants to tell me he can't hear me. It's all right. Okay. So people can hear me. All right. Well, let's just pause for a moment, given last night's events at the correspondence dinner. We are Unitarian Universalists. We believe in voting people out of office, not in the violence that occurred last night. It is somewhat miraculous that only one person was shot and had a bulletproof vest on, and they are fine. And other leaders in our country are fine. But I know it also, these things kind of jar us to the core that we choose sometimes as a country to resort to violence, to expressing our fear and unhappiness. Or we don't know really much about the shooter. We don't even know if it was a mental health issue, but we don't solve things. We don't problem solve things. Sometimes we just react in violent ways as a culture. So let's pause to think of the people at the dinner and how afraid they must be and what it was like for them to wake up in the aftermath this morning and sorting out the meaning and if they'll ever go to another event like that. I want to take a chance for people to introduce themselves. If there's anyone, you don't have to be new today, just newer. If you want to introduce yourself and say where you're from. I don't want anybody to feel pressure, but this is one of the ways we get to know each other better.
Hi, we're Eric and Gail, moving up to the area from California. So, and we've been UUs for a while.
And with grandkids, as I understand it. You have family here already. Yeah. All right. Fremont, California. This is going to be a good coffee hour discussion for the two of you.
I'll introduce myself before I start thinking about it. And I guess I've been here just like my 7th or 8th time here, so I'm kind of new. I've been going to UU for 25 years, mostly in Port Townsend, Washington, and some other places. Originally from Kodiak, Alaska, and I just moved here for work and internship to become a therapist. Still getting my graduate degree in Seattle and just trying to land.
Yes, it's been great to have you, Stormy. Anybody else? Oh.
I'm Hannah. This is my mom, Rebecca, and my son, Richard. We're just kind of trying to find a good place to belong, I guess. I live here and I've been in Tacoma for like 7 years now, but I'm originally from California too.
Welcome, and we hope you find what you are looking for here. And for all of you who can't see her son, he's about 2.5 feet tall. And children and child noises are always welcome here. Does not throw us off balance at all. One more.
All right. Hey, I'm Lizzie Myrick. I use she, her. I'm from South Carolina originally, moved here about less than a year ago. I've been attending for a little bit of a while, My permanent name tag just came in today, so yay. Yeah, thank you.
Well, one of the things that we always want to know from newer people is what are you looking for so that we can try to meet that need. And I don't have time to have that conversation when I'm walking around with a microphone, but it's a conversation we want to have with you. I am aware that because of living through our Unitarian Universalist values, which were up here on the screen earlier, I believe that we all have a ministry in the church. It's not just the minister, we all do this. And so I have a reading from Gordon McKeeman about anyone's ministry, which means you. Ministry is the quality of a relationship between and among human beings that beckons forth hidden possibilities, inviting people into deeper, more constant, more reverent relationship with the world and with each other. Whenever there is a meeting that summons us to our better selves, wherever our lostness is found, our fragments are united, our wounds begin healing, our spines stiffen, and our muscles grow strong for the task. There is ministry. I also think, not written, one of the things we also need to do together is to have fun and to celebrate joy. And so April is National Poetry Month, so I thought, let's have a poetry service. I also think this is a way we get to know each other better. You learn a lot about a person by the poem they choose to recite. And some of our poets this morning, some are reading other people's work, but some have written their own. And so that will be happening instead of a sermon this morning. But until then, the rest of our service will be the same, starting with our chalice lighting.
Morning, I'm Charlie. I'm your celebrant today. I'm using he, him pronouns today. And I'd like to invite Dave Hackett out to light the chalice for us. Dave's a pretty busy guy. He's part of the care team. He helps do clean up stuff for safe parking. He helps with just about any other task he's asked to help with. Please join me in the words that are going to appear on the screen. We light this chalice in deep respect for the mystery and holiness of life, in honor and gratitude for those who have gone before, with love and compassion for those who dwell among us, and with hope and faith for the generations to come. Please stand in body or spirit and help us with hymn number 63 in the gray hymnal. Thank you.
This is one we're not real familiar with, so Dana will play it through once. And please, my apologies if I suddenly drop out because my asthma is not as good as I was hoping it would be by now. And this. Spring has now unwrapped the flowers
So we now have Betsy Thomas reading our children's story this morning. A good many of our kids are down in OWL class. They go straight to class at 10:15, so that's why we're missing them this morning. So there is a lot of food and a lot of soap and a lot of toothpaste and toothbrushes to be collected. You guys have a big job.
Is it on now? Okay. Hello. You all worked so hard collecting all of that. This is a poem. It's not going to be like a book like normally. It's just a short poem by a poet called Shel Silverstein. Has anyone heard of Shel Silverstein? Woo! Yeah, exactly. Where the sidewalk ends. That's what he's famous for. What? A Light in the Attic, The Giving Tree, lots and lots of things. All right, Shel. This is a slight adaptation. Some of the pronouns have been changed because Shel was from a different era, and so he used the universal his and he. So we changed some of the pronouns. But this is an adaptation of a poem called Messy Room. I bet no one knows about a messy room. Whose ever room this is should be ashamed. Their underwear is hanging on the lamp. Their raincoat is there in the overstuffed chair, and the chair is becoming quite mucky and damp. Their workbook is wedged in the window. Their sweater's been thrown on the floor. Their scarf and one ski are beneath the TV, and their pants have been carelessly hung on the door. Their books are all jammed in the closet. Their vest has been left in the hall. A lizard named Ed is asleep in the bed, and their smelly old sock has been stuck to the wall. Whose ever room this is should be ashamed. Donald or Claire or Willie or, huh? You say it's mine? Oh dear, I knew it looked familiar.
If, if you could stand and body your spirit to sing our children out. Oh, dear, when our love as you go, may your heart be at peace as you go. To nurture the spark of your precious life, We hold you in our love as you go. We hold you in our love as you go, as you go. May your heart be at peace as you go. To nurture the spark of your precious life, we hold you in our love as you go.
And now is the time when we invite you to give generously to support the work we do at Tahoma UU. You can go to our website to give, and if there's, I think it's still there, 2 buttons. There's one up at the top right that says give, and there's another one just a little ways down the website that says giving. If you click on those, follow the directions, you can send your money electronically, the way we do everything nowadays. And again, the website is tahomauu.com. Thank you.
Please join me in the words on the screen. We dedicate ourselves and our offerings to the work of this congregation, weaving a tapestry of love we call community, both within and beyond these walls. And please rise, embody your spirit, and join us for hymn number 352.
Again, Dan is going to play through this song all once, and then we will join in. Find the stillness, hold the stillness, let the stillness carry me. Find the stillness, hold the silence, let the silence carry me. In the Spirit, by the Spirit, with the Spirit giving power, I will find true harmony. Seek the essence, hold the essence, let the essence carry me. Let me flower, help me flower, watch me flower, carry me. In the Spirit, by the Spirit, with the Spirit giving power, I will find true harmony.
Oh, thank you, Patty, for leading us in song. And thank you, Dana, for playing this morning. Dana really subbed in last minute. And Charlie for being our celebrant. So we are going to start with our poems. Mine, doesn't really have an introduction. I just was introduced to this poem recently. And I just loved the visual that goes with this. It's called Leaning. When a tree falls in the forest and another catches it, holding it for years, does it do this out of kindness? Everywhere I look, one thing is leaning on another. Old logs on living trees. The peeling window sash resting open on a stick. The tea cozy settled on the teapot. You leaning on the table toward me, listening to my story. And the story leaning too, inclining toward your heart, trusting you to catch and carry the slant of its true meaning. I will now have Laura Gardner read.
My grandmother, Isabel Brines Longfellow, was a poet. This is a family favorite, and it's called Happiness. Never ask of happiness that you see it come. Trumpet led in full parade, marching to a drum. Seldom will it pass for more than fragment of the whole, a small flag, a brief horn, a drum's faint roll. So hearken down the least day, wherever it may be, watching lest a plume pass and you not see. Thank you.
Good morning. I'll recite a song by Langston Hughes. actually it's a poem. He was born in 1907 and died in 1967. He was a handsome African-American gay man and a prolific writer. He was a leading figure in the Harlem Renaissance of the 1920s and 30s. He was also a lifelong advocate for civil rights. He wrote a poem that we can relate to very familiarly in the Northwest. We've experienced the title, will give it away. It's called an April rain song. We know a lot about rain. So here is his song, and it's written when he was in New York City. April rain song. Let the rain kiss you. Let the rain beat upon your head with liquid silver drops. Let the rain sing you a lullaby. The rain makes still pools on the sidewalk. The rain makes running pools in the gutter. The rain plays a little sleep song on our roof at night. I love the rain. And maybe we'll learn to love the rain too. Okay, take it easy.
Thank you, Jenny. What a good choice. And now Betsy Thomas is going to read a poem that I just discovered last year, which is quite something.
It's also quite long, so I apologize, but this is titled Acceptance Speech After Setting the World Record in Goosebumps, and it's by Andrea Gibson, who was a queer non-binary poet, primarily a spoken word poet. And they passed away last July after living through cancer for several years, just shy of their 50th birthday. Yeah, so I love this one because it just reminds me to notice and be awestruck. I wasn't by any means a natural. Okay, sorry again. Acceptance speech after setting the world record in Goosebumps. I wasn't by any means a natural, was not one of those wow hounds born jaw-dropped. I was tough in the husk, went years untouched by rain, took shelter seriously, even and often especially in good weather. Like tears, my tears like teenagers, hiding under the hoods of my eyes. So committed they were to never falling for the joke of astonishment. When I was told there were 7 wonders of the world, I trusted the math, believed I had seen none of them. Of course, beauty hunted me. It hunts everyone. But I outran it, hid in worry, regret, the promise of an afterlife or a week's end. Then one day, in a red velvet theater in New Orleans, I watched Maya Angelou walk on stage. 17 slow steps to the mic. She took a breath before speaking, and I could hear God being born in that breath. My every pore reached out like a hand pointing to the first unsinkable lotus in the bayou of the universe. I'd never felt anything like it. Searched the encyclopedia for the feeling's name when I got home. Goosebumps. Afterward, I thought, I can do this. Started training morning to night, crowbar swinging like a pendulum at the wall of my chest. Tore the caution tape off my life and let everything touch it. Allen Iverson on the television in his first season with the Sixers, crossover sharp as a V of sparrows flying through the paint like Michelangelo's brush. 333 goosebumps. My baby sister, sober for the first time in 13 years, calling to tell me she had just noticed our mother's eyes are green. 505 goosebumps. One day, my friend scored tickets to a Prince concert, tiny venue. I was right behind the sound booth. Prince's entire band that evening, women. At the end of the show, the sound person turned around and whispered, he didn't play one song on his set list the whole night. I live on stages. I know what it is to scratch a plan, but not the whole trip, and still arrive to your destination 200 years before your time. 421 artists formerly known as Goosebumps. But that's just the fancy stuff. Some of them came from simple facts. It rains diamonds on Jupiter, 189 Goosebumps. Blood donors in Sweden receive a thank you message when their blood is used, 301 Nordic Goosebumps. One night in Ann Arbor, my friend, still undiagnosed, could not uncurl her fingers to strum her guitar, so she sang the chords instead. It was the first time in my life I'd seen pain become an instrument. 10 dozen Goosebumps for each and every note plucked from the string section of her refusal to silence her dream. After that, nothing in the world was gray. Even the movie of my past was released in color. The oldest man in my hometown could not get to the door to listen to our carols, so we went inside and sang at his bedside instead. 24 boots on the front step catching snowflakes with their tongues, 776 Goosebumps. At one point, everything started doing it. A sincere apology, 221 Goosebumps. An enemy's love poem, 222 Goosebumps. The moon rising over the Continental Divide. My girlfriend and I thought it was a car driving off a cliff, and suddenly nothing in the world was dying. You ever felt that? A split second when nothing in the world is dying? 888 Goosebumps. And the next day, I sharpened a tiny axe so I could split the seconds myself. Too much lives in a moment to not feed it to the fire in the heart, slow. A Missoula treehouse filled with candlelight, 143 Goosebumps. The Octopus documentary, 54 Goosebumps multiplied by 8. The biggest dog in the shelter hiding behind a teacup chihuahua, and the woman who came to adopt a cat taking all 3 of them home, 1,012 Goosebumps. There is no escaping the magic now. Beauty caught me and never let me go. And the thing about the world record is, if someone breaks it after me, and they will break it after me, I will love that so much that without even trying, I'll just break it again.
All right, we now are going to have Debbie Ramsey read.
Good morning. This poem is by my father, Robert Squires. He was by profession an English teacher. And when I was about 10, I had to go back and do the math, we had moved to a bigger town in upstate New York and had the opportunity to join a UU church. And my father, I think he did everything in that church at one point or another. He was on the board and he was LRY coordinator when I was in high school and got the Peace Garden going in the back. He was the first one to have his ashes buried behind the church. Anyway, he did everything. So this is his poem on my 29th birthday. I do not like the soulful looks when friends across the table sit, inscribing these, my birthday books. And then I find the things they've writ are notes designed to make me see that life for me has yet in store, although they often disagree about the sum, a few years more. But I won't accept their verdict. I do not feel that I am old, a wrinkled, limping derelict. A life, they think, is water cold, then hot, which one turns off and on as though it had no meaning for the one who gives us dark and dawn. But then I find that towards the poor folk who cling to such a view, I feel nothing but compassion and wonder if they ever do things to prove they're God's invention. I'll not be bound by rigid rules that claim my age is too advanced, nor will I listen to those fools who criticize the things I've chanced. With added years, I realize that if I do one lovely thing, then I'll have earned my mortal prize, the right to wear a jeweled ring, which he has made with his impress. I thank him for my aliveness.
So Rebecca Barbato did want to read this morning, but she's not able to. So Naomi Washburn is able to read for us. Thank you for jumping in and doing that.
The poem I'm going to read is by Barbara Kingsolver. She's more known as a fiction writer, but this is from her collection, How to Fly in 10,000 Easy Lessons, and is called How to Cure Sweet Potatoes. Dig them after the first light frost. Lay them down in a shallow tray like cordwood, like orphans in a dresser drawer. Cover them with damp towels. Bring up the heat. In a closet or spare room, you'll want it hotter than the worst summer day you remember and that humid. A week of this will thicken their skins, make them last for months in your cellar, and turn all of their starch into sugar. Bear in mind, this is not a cure for anything that was wrong with the sweet potato. That meant to be starchy, thanks. The better to weather a winter in cold clay than lean on its toes and throw out reckless tendrils into one more spring. Bear in mind also the ways that you were once induced to last through the sermon, the meal, the insufferable adult conversation. All the times you wanted to be starchy, but were made to be sweet. Recall this surrender when you sit down to eat them. Consider the direction of your grace.
And Chris Apple will now read her piece. And for the tech booth, we're going to be using the microphone, story microphone.
Good morning.
On? Now are we on? Yes. My name is Chris Apple, and this is my poem, House Rules. It's about my childhood and how I solved a great mystery. They told me later I was autistic. But earlier, much earlier, I had already solved it. I was a vampire. It explained everything. Bright lights, too intense. My ears, unnaturally sharp. Every moment, an infernal cacophony. Nothing stayed in the background. Everything stepped forward. Voices stacked like plates until one more would shatter me. I learned to fade the way others learned games. My parents insisted on sunlight. Go outside, get some air, play. But I had already found my coffin, that narrow space between the bed and the wall. Dim, contained, mine. I emerged pale, yes, and the sun too sharp, too immediate, pressed against my skin like a question. A drumstick on a paper plate, tendon threaded, architecture of bone and will. You know, meat is muscle, fat, bone, vessels, all present. Humans also have these. The resemblance was too close. But the deal breaker, skin. Every book agreed chickens have feathers. This did not match. I looked at my thumb, then around the table. Silence. I adjusted my diet. Cereal, milk, fruit, crackers, things that did not resemble anything with a face. And my nose knew first. Milk turning, fruit slipping, wrongness arriving early. One bite, and I knew, not for me. A birthday ruined by a difference no one else could taste. And the rules were never written. Like a vampire, I needed an invitation to play, to sit, to belong. Others entered freely. I waited. Everything had to be explicit in a world that never announced its rules. Then at 15, I met the boy I would marry. I called him the boy of my heart, and he called me the girl of his. And now, decades later, we are simply heart and heart. He was the one who saw it, a page, a finger tapping. Look, this is you. Not a monster, not a mistake, something named. And when I told my mother, she said, "Stop accusing me," as if I had named her Victor Frankenstein and myself the monster. I was not accusing, I was naming myself. I keep the metaphor because what they called too much was unfiltered. What they called picky was precision. What they called withdrawn was survival. I was never wrong, only unshielded, the child in the narrow dark, book in hand, still keeping to the shadows.
Hello, I'm Holly. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm going to be reading a poem written by my paternal great-grandmother, Abigail Hedge Coriel, in a little pamphlet she printed, had printed in 1954. And just a little bit about Abigail. She was married, she and John R. Coriel were married. John was a prolific writer. He originated the Nick Carter series, which later came on to become the 007 movies. But while John was a prolific writer, Abby did like to write poetry. They were also good friends with anarchist Emma Goodman and involved in a lot of social causes. So here we are. To be myself. I would grow and grow and grow myself. Grow in the sunshine of right living. Grow in the sunshine of right thinking. Grow in the sunshine of fair dealing. And if by some happy chance the sunshine of my life sheds a bit of brightness on some life near mine, then I am glad. I love the sunshine which comes to me, shed by the lives of those around me. Such sunshine is very warm and beautiful. It is the living, growing people who have the sunshine all around them. Then let me grow. Let me be myself. May you grow. May you be yourself. Thank you.
And our last reader is Don Courtwright, who is back by popular demand.
Well, I believe, like a warm hug, warm words may also be received better the second time. So I begin. Gratitude. Safe parking. a kitchen, a shelter or two, an invitation or three, decadent gleaned fruits, unanticipated jars of honey, feeling my voice lifted, feeling welcomed in the silence. Our melodious Baldwin piano, each one of you being you. The permanent vegan potluck parade. Okay, I'll settle for carrots. Lip reading hymn lyrics. A sanctuary for laughter. Leaving ready, returning even more ready, belonging to a worthy open-heartedness, the love of humanity. Say it with me. Phila, philanthropy, phila, philanthropy. New windows, new heat, new light, new feet. Collectively more than shelter. From sitting alone in the last row, witnessing my elders navigate harmonious improvisation, apologizing when I have not, from accepting my own incompleteness to feeling my voice lifted here and now, leaving ready, returning even more ready. And for those of you just joining upon this brisk moment, depleted of gratitude, whose pigeon wail heart buckles from the languishing self-oppression or the retreating feeling of being untouchable, may I too share my gratitude for the warm red cups.
I just want to thank all of the people who read. When I asked for readers for the poetry service, I thought, oh, I'll just get a few. People like ran right up to me with my clipboard and like, I'll read. And it's just such a beautiful sharing of something that has touched you, and it helps us all know you better. So thank you for letting us into your heart and your world.
Please rise in body or spirit and join us for hymn number 34 in the gray hymnal.
Though I may speak with bravest fire and have a gift to all inspire, and have not love, my words are vain as sounding brass and hopeless gain. Though I may give all I possess, and striving so to all impress, but have not kept my love within, the prophet soon grows strangely thin. Spirit, come, our hearts control, our spirits long to be made whole. Let inward love guide every deed. By this we worship and are free.
Yeah, the bake, chicken to bake tonight.
For closing words, I chose a poem. I chose part of a poem. And I also want to remind you, any of you who are interested in this, attending the detention center Solidarity Day, Friday afternoon, talk to me after this service, because I'm just wondering If there's a big enough group, if maybe we want to meet here and go over. This all came up very last minute, but just see me so I can keep you in the communication loop. So this is part of a poem which you will recognize. Say these words when you lie down and when you rise up, when you go out and when you return, in times of mourning and in times of joy. Inscribe them on your doorposts, embroider them on your garments, tattoo them on your shoulders. Teach them to your children, your neighbors, and your enemies. Recite them in your sleep, here in the cruel shadow of empire. Another world is possible. And that's by Aurora Morales.
I'm gonna.
Please join me in the words on the screen. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. And please stand in body or spirit and join in our closing blessing song to each other.